Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Fatima Azahra from Public Administration Science. Here I will explain about the journal entitled The Effects of Population Aging on South Korea Economy, the National Transfers Accounts Approach by Hyun Kim and Sang Hyop Lee from Department of Economics, University of Hawaii at Manoa and East West Center, USA. The unprecedented rapid population aging is one of the most important economic and social risks in Korea, which hinders sustainable growth and social cohesion. Given the tight labor market, the elderly is also driven into bright jobs, which is characterized by temporary and low income. The population aging in Korea will also undoubtedly negatively affect the country's fiscal sustainability, even in the near future. However, little is known about how various economic outcome variables, labor income, consumption, transfers, will be affected based on different fertility and mortality scenarios. That is the motivation for this study. The results show that the consequences of the two sorts of population aging, falling fertility and mortality, are not the same. Although both factors contribute to population aging, their effects on the economy are very different in direction, magnitude, and timing. In addition, the effects depend significantly on economic variables themselves, labor income, consumption, public and private transfers. Only the pension system is affected in the same way by both low fertility and low mortality. Both of them will increase the pressure on the public pension system of Korea. Population aging and generational economy in Korea. The speed of population aging in Korea is unprecedented. The rapid population aging of Korea is in large part due to its extremely low fertility. Several factors contribute to this unprecedented low fertility. Point out that high and rising costs of private education in Korea is the main reason for the low fertility. Korea has been ranked as being among the highest in the world in terms of post-secondary education. Higher education in good school is regarded as a high priority for South Korea families. A success in education is crucial for improving one's socio-economic position in Korean society. It is also a source of pride for families. This leads to a very high level of competition through private tutoring. Known as obsession with education, so-called education fever. Parents often make this long-term financial and time commitment with the underlying expectation of obtaining some sort of security in old age, typically from the eldest son, which has been eroding over time. Other contributing factors include rising housing price, rising uncertainty about employment, the difficulty of balancing work and family obligation, and changing values within Korean society. Korea also has the highest poverty rate of people aged 64 and above among OECD for Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development countries. The rate is over 40%, while the OECD range is only around 13%. That is more than 4 out of the 10 people aged 65 and above in Korea earn less than 50% of the median income. The high poverty rate of the elderly is in large part because the public pension scheme for the elderly in Korea was developed relatively recently and because it has stricter eligibility criteria than other advanced economies. The elderly depend on the public two public programs, the basic welfare program in the national pension system, the basic welfare program, the basic livelihood security program, is a welfare system that provides cash and other benefits such as housing and education for citizens in absolutely poverty. Empirical results, labor income, consumption, and economic life cycle. Overall, we can expect the life cycle deficit to continue to shrink until the mid-2040s due to the substantial decline in young population. After the mid-2040s, however, the decline in the life cycle deficit it will gradually slow as the labor income of the younger cohort becomes larger. The economic effects of surge of population aging on the life cycle deficit is much clearer when looking at the results by age group. In comparison with the medium fertility scenario, the life cycle deficit of young people is significantly lower under the low fertility scenario. In contrast, the life cycle deficit of older people increases far more substantially under the low mortality scenario than under the medium mortality. We can expect the life cycle deficit of young people to decrease sharply, largely due to the decline in the fertility rate, and the life cycle deficit of older people to increase substantially as a result of the higher life expectancy. On the other hand, the life cycle deficit of young people is rarely affected by different mortality scenarios. Similarly, the life cycle deficit of older people is rarely affected by fertility scenarios. For people aged 15 to 64, the effects of different mortality scenario is negligible. However, the effects of different fertility rates is quiet. Okay, from the whole we can draw a conclusion is only a few studies have investigated the relative importance of decreasing fertility versus increasing life expectancy on population aging. Even less is known about the economic impacts of these two main sources of population aging. In this paper, we demonstrate that the economic consequences of each of these major demographic factors are very different in direction, magnitude, and timing, except for the pressure on the pension system. As compared with the medium fertility scenario, labor income declines sharply after the year 2040 under the low fertility scenario. However, the effects of low mortality is much smaller because the labor income of older people is substantially lower. Okay, maybe that's all I can explain. More or less, I apologize. Thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.